Hey, this is looking good so far. I'm assuming this is your realistic bounce. It's looking good. It's got a lot going on. The thing I'm noticing the most, I like I think that squash and stretch looks odd because if, if it's going to stretch that much after the bounce, or is that a squash? It's just odd because if it's squashing, it should be kind of a little bit more flat on there. That sort of looks like the stretch right afterwards, but then it immediately recovers from that. So it's really just one frame. What I would have is it stretching as it approaches here, and then squash a little bit on impact, and then stretching, and then coming back to normal as it reaches the top here. Um, but so barring that, the timing looks pretty good. I think that what I would expect is that it hits here. It's got a pretty good amount of upward momentum and speed when we get to frame 30 here and it hits that wall. So what I would think would happen here is it would bounce there and continue to kind of continue with some of its upward momentum. There's a sort of a physics rule that things bounce with at it when a ball hits a flat surface, it bounces with the equal opposite angle. So if it's coming in at this angle, then it would bounce out at an equal opposite angle, like so. Um, or it gets even steeper than I was saying. So if it's kind of like that, then it would kind of go like that. Now, I mean, the angle should do that. Obviously, it'll decelerate and start falling pretty quickly, but it should bounce. It shouldn't just immediately go back down, most likely when it hits that surface, unless there's like a lot of friction on the ball, so that when it hits that, it kind of stops the upward momentum. But I wouldn't expect that to happen with most balls. So that's the one thing, is to have it go up after it hits the ball and then kind of come back down. Yeah, but I like a lot of what's going on there. I think it's looking really good. I think the other thing is that this last part here. So kind of look at how to get this distance here. Say that's about call that 2 grid units. We go from 39 to 46 or something. I call it about 7 frames, right? So it's traveling 2 grid units over 7 frames. Now it's going to be losing momentum this whole time, right? It's losing energy. So it's going to travel back over those 2 frames. This direction should take 7 or more frames, but you have it. So 1, 2, 3. So over 3 frames, it's already pretty much covered the ground, where before it did that. It's as if it gains energy when it does this bounce, and it should continue to lose energy. So it should really be slowing down, and in fact, it even seems to be speeding up from here to there. We can actually take a look at the graph editor. Sorry, here we are, right here. And which curve is that going to be? Is that translate? It's not y. It's either z or x. So this looks like it's probably going to be x. So, oops, F for frame. So I guess it's not really accelerating there, but you're going to want to take this and I think move it down quite a bit. Maybe something like that. See what you think of this. To me, that looks much more realistic. And I would say then also some of these in here. Well, the thing to think about overall is that the up and down bouncing generally really doesn't change the speed of the forward momentum. The forward momentum stays the same, or it doesn't really stay the same, it just gradually slows down, but it shouldn't be speeding up and slowing down in the x direction as it moves back and forth. So if we go back to that graph editor, let's just watch it one more time like this. And now let's take a look at the graph editor again. Panel, graph editor. So look at that very uneven curve there. A very simple thing to do is just take all these guys, get rid of them, delete. And I think what you'll want to do here is have it go fast and then gradually slow down. I mean, you might want this to be a little bit more like a bounce, where it's not flat here, where this one. So I'm going to take these two guys and break both of those tangents. Break tangent button, and let's kind of bend this one like so, and this one, I'm just selecting it in the middle, mouse dragging it. So we don't want it to speed up actually, but it shouldn't slow down too much. And then this one, kind of like that. So we kind of, it feels like it bounces off that wall. So let's see if we like that any better. Maybe too much of a bounce off that wall. Does it even hit the wall now? I may have gotten rid of your keyframe where it actually makes contact with the wall. So I might just move that like so. Seems a little bit better. Yeah, and then the kind of the last thing to do is have that go up after here, and you're going to have to do some more work in there. But I think this is looking pretty good. I think you chose sort of a complicated one to do, and there's a lot of really good stuff going on. So yeah, nice work.